Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're diving into something that folks in modern farming call black gold. We're talking about potassium humate. And this stuff is really interesting because it does two jobs at once. It doesn't just feed your plants, it actually helps rebuild the very soil they grow in.
And that really makes you think, doesn't it? For so long, the focus has been all about this season's yield. But what if the fertilizer you use could also make your soil healthier and more productive for years and years to come? That's the big shift we're looking at today. Okay, so how do you really know if a product is the real deal and not just a bunch of hype? Well, the proof, as they say, is in the pudding. Or in this case, it's all in the data. So let's crack open a real certificate of analysis and see what these numbers are all about. Look, anyone can make a claim, but the real story, that starts right here with hard, objective numbers. This is where you separate promises from actual results.
And here it is. This is a certificate of analysis for a specific batch of potassium humate. Now, I know it might look like a bunch of technical jargon at first, but trust me, every single number on this page tells a story about what this stuff can do for your farm. Let's decode it together.
All right, let's get to the good stuff. What do all these percentages actually mean for your farm? Let's translate these numbers into real-world benefits and see what's really in this so-called black gold.
Whoa, okay, so the first number that just jumps right off the page is this one, greater than or equal to 80%. But 80% of what exactly?
That's 80% organic matter. And that is a huge deal. You know, organic matter is basically the lifeblood of your soil. It improves its structure, helps it hold on to water and nutrients, and creates a happy home for all those beneficial microbes. So you're not just feeding this year's crop, you're making a long-term investment in your soil's health.
Okay, but what's inside that organic matter? Let's talk about the real powerhouses here. We've got humic acid at over 55% and fulvic acid just under 50. These guys are incredible. They act like little magnets for nutrients, grabbing them and holding them right where the plant roots can easily suck them up. They're key for nutrient absorption and helping those roots grow strong. And it gets even better. Check this out. At least 12% potassium oxide. And if you're a grower, you know potassium is absolutely essential for your plants.
So you see what's happening here? It's a 1-2 punch. On one hand, you're improving your soil for the long haul. And on the other, you're giving your crops that critical shot of potassium they need right now for everything from developing fruit to fighting off diseases.
But listen, a product can have the best stats in the world, but if it's a pain to use, what's the point, right? So let's get practical and talk about how its form and how well it dissolves makes a massive difference. So potassium humate can come as a powder or as granules, but the one we're looking at here is the flake form. And, you know, they all have their uses, but these flakes, they have some really smart advantages when it comes to efficiency. Just think about it for a second. Powder, it gets everywhere. It's dusty. Granules, they can take forever to break down in the soil. But flakes, they're clean, they're easy to handle, and, well, you're about to see their superpower. And here it is, right on the certificate, completely water-soluble. Now, this might sound like a small detail, but trust me, it is a total game changer for modern agriculture. So what does that actually let you do? It means this stuff is perfect for fertigation. That's the super efficient method where you basically feed your plants and water them at the exact same time, delivering everything they need directly to the roots through your irrigation system. It's precise, it's effective, and it cuts down on waste. And because these flakes dissolve so easily, the whole process couldn't be simpler. You just measure out what you need, it dissolves in your tank in no time, and boom, it's ready to go through your existing irrigation setup. It really is that easy. So what completely soluble really means for you is no more clogged drippers, no gunk at the bottom of the tank. It means every single penny you spend on this fertilizer actually gets to your plants, where it's supposed to be. All right, let's bring this all together. What we've really seen today is that when a company shows you the data, they're not just making promises, they're showing you proof of their commitment to quality. So let's just quickly recap the highlights. You've got that massive 80% organic matter to rebuild your soil. It's packed with those powerful humic and fulvic acids. You're getting a direct source of essential potassium. And to top it all off, it's 100% water-soluble for the most efficient application possible. So if any of this sounds like it could be a fit for your operation and you want to learn more, here's all the contact information for Raindow Technology. And that really leaves us with one final question to think about. Are you just feeding this season's plants? Or are you ready to invest in the long-term future of your soil, your yield, and your entire farm? Thanks for tuning in.